my God! Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of User Friendly. My name is Erfan Elijah. I'm a writer for Cultamac.com, also the founder of MikeTees.com. I'm here with the Throwboy himself.
Roberto Hoyos from Throwboy.com and co-host of User Friendly.
Freshly back from Los Angeles, as you would say.
Well, I was in the Bay Area.
Okay. And then Los Angeles, right?
No.
I thought you were there. Anyway, User Friendly is our weekly podcast where we talk about our favorite stuff from the web, all things geek, and anything else that
Mustache culture.
piques our interest, like mustaches. Welcome to the show, and welcome back.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks and thank you.
When did you actually get back?
I got back on Sunday, I believe.
Oh, okay.
But it feels like we haven't done the show in like 100 years.
It does feel like that,
Yeah.
even though we did a episode last week that was actually recorded last week.
Yeah, we recorded on Monday and then we released it on Tuesday. Normally we release like
Oh, maybe that's
Wednesday or
why.
Thursday night.
Okay, maybe
So
that's why it feels like
It
it's
just
been a
felt
while.
sort of staggered, but yeah, it's been good. How have you been?
I have been good as well. I've been keeping busy. Been making some of those moves with CultCast, making them
Yep.
business moves.
Does that feel good?
You know, I love it.
You're
I
the
think
master of your own destiny.
yeah, I'm gonna be poor forever, but I'll be my own boss. Yeah, it feels great just doing something that you feel like is moving you forward in life.
Yeah.
Because I used to have a job where I was a project manager for a few years, actually more than a few years.
In a tech.
In a tech company. Yeah, exactly. Actually, hey, in a tech. I never pieced that together. It's like in a tech company. But, and actually, I had worked on site at Microsoft for a while. You may not know about me. Being on Apple Podcasts, I know some of you might be surprised at that. But you know, Microsoft's actually an awesome place to work. I gotta say, they treat their people really well. They pay you well.
Lost some viewers.
The CultCast viewership's gonna drop by 95%.
Credibility has gone down.
So now we're gonna have 5 listeners.
No
instead of
wonder he
100.
doesn't know about like the iPad Mini's version 2.
Yeah, come on, man. Well, speaking of iPad Mini, we're gonna see a whole bunch of mini stuff next week, October 23rd, October 23rd. I think it's a Tuesday. We're expecting a new iPad Mini. We're expecting a new Mac Mini, and possibly a Retina display 13-inch MacBook Pro, which everyone's been waiting for, and then also a refreshed iMac, which is supposed to have a different shape. And who knows what's actually going to happen, because it's Apple. You never really know. But it's exciting because a lot of this gear that they're going to be refreshing hasn't been refreshed in a while, especially the iMac.
Yeah.
And the iPad Mini is something I'm actually excited about because I saw the price points. And if accurate, you're going to be able to buy an 8 gigabytes iPad Mini for $250.
That's nice.
That's really cheap. And I actually really like the form factor. If it ends up being as small as everyone says it's going to be, 7.5 inches across,
That's like a
or
Kindle.
diagonally on the screen. Yeah, it's like a Kindle. And one of the things about the iPad 3 that I didn't like is it actually is a little thicker and a little heavier than the iPad 2, which I know sounds silly. But once you put it in a case, it actually feels a lot heavier than the iPad 2. I would love to have something more compact and lighter weight. It's so funny, dude.
Yeah, it's funny like how long this rumor's been dragged out for so long.
Oh, forever.
But now that you think about it, it's just like, well, if everyone's clamoring for this form factor, it's just like, why the hell not? You know, just the same thing as why not make the stupid iPhone a little bit bigger? Because everyone's like, is it gonna get bigger? Because it should be bigger, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. I probably will buy one. But, you know, after this announcement, we really don't have any announcements that are going to be exciting for, I mean, I can't think of anything else, really. Yeah, January, February, March, April, until maybe April when...
That's normal, dude.
Yeah, when we get new iPads.
This is like time where they have to put out the good products, put out a whole new product line, Christmas season, you know, holiday season, and then after that, they'll put something out after the dust settles.
But it's interesting because as somebody, I put together the show for CultCast, right? And it's interesting because when we don't have news events, I get to be a lot more creative because I'm like, okay, well, we're not going to be talking about the iPhone 5. We're not going to be talking about the iPad Mini.
Every day.
Every single show, which I actually like talking about this stuff, and I think our audience enjoys it as well. But We get to talk about other stuff that's way more interesting. Well, I shouldn't say way more interesting. That's also interesting, but it's a lot more difficult to put together a show like that too.
Oh yeah, I mean, it must be really difficult to like do a blog like Cult of Mac, where you have to just kind of think outside the box for a lot of these stories.
Yeah, that's really what a lot of it is. Like, what can we write about? Especially on slow news weeks. Like, sometimes when I'm putting the show together for the Cultcast, I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we going to talk about? Like, there's nothing to talk about. And then I start going through the week's news, and I'm like, oh man, I always end up with way more than we have time for. Always.
Are the writers ever worried that they're going to basically rehash something?
I don't think so. I can't speak for everybody. I don't think so. We have so many different topics to write about. There's always new apps coming out. There's always little bits of news coming out. So, no. And actually, rehashing stuff isn't necessarily all that bad. Certain topics can be rehashed, like photography. It's like that's not changing all that much. You can still talk about that and talk about things you've talked about in the past. So, I don't know. But yeah, it definitely can be a grind, because it's news and that kind of thing, and you're always looking for new stuff to come out with.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like being creative too, right? It's like you could never repeat yourself. You're always having to push forward.
Yeah, I would just think that like with so many writers on the site, it's like somebody wanted to write about like why this icon has this like, what's the symbolism behind an icon or something stupid, something like very quirky, and then like somebody else wrote about it, because you guys have like thousands of posts,
Yeah, we do. I mean, less than we actually used to have. They're actually cutting back because we were having too many posts a day. And on big news days like iPhone 5 days, we have like 40, 50, 60 posts a day. Jesus. Like, that's insane. I mean, the Cult of Mac team is not as big as you would think. Like, we don't have a team of 20 people writing stuff, It's like, it's crazy. So, in any case, let's talk about your big event that happened in your life.
Yeah.
So, you just got back from the Bay Area, and you were on Triangulation with Leo Laporte.
Yeah, if you go back to our archives, that's how you used to say it.
I think I said that once. So how was it?
It was really, really good. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's on twit.tv/tri, T-R-I. But it's a show called Triangulation, and they just interview people like interesting people and like people in technology, and before me was John Hodgman. So like,
he was on.
So like celebrities and stuff like that. So I somehow like snuck my way into there.
Yeah, super sneaky.
And I got interviewed on there about Throwboy, and it was really cool. Like I showed up to the studio with my friend John, and we were like kind of early because I wasn't sure.
What time was the recording?
It was going to be recorded at 3 p.m. in the afternoon on last Wednesday. And basically I got there, and it was like really, really laid back. I was just like, hey, I'm here for my interview. Like,
it looked really laid back.
Yeah, like they were kind of just like, oh, okay, well you're early, just kind of like come back, and I'm like, is there anything I need to know, because I'm kind of
hot towel.
Yeah, just like I need to kind of. Is there anything I need to have prepared? All I did was bring pillows, and I'm like, oh no, you're fine, So basically I just kind of like winged it. I was just like, all right, well I know my stuff. I know what I'm gonna say.
you know your specific life stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't really have to like think about what I was gonna say. And all in all, I've gotten really good feedback from it.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it. I think it went really well.
And it's just like one of those things, like if you're interviewed or if you go to a job interview, you come back and you're just like, oh man, like I probably didn't say what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Or, like, I forgot forgot to mention this part or whatever.
I made way too many racial slurs.
Yeah. So I had that kind of in the back of my mind, but I watched about like half of it, and then I was just like, oh, I think it's fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
But I've gotten a lot of really good feedback, a lot of new Facebook comments of just people that are like, I've never watched this show, but like my husband showed it to me and I really liked it, and like all these kind of like cool, like really encouraging feedback about it. And yeah, overall it was good. I was happy that I did it, and it was one of those things where like when you have a company and you sort of just forget to do promotion once in a while, and then when you do it, you get this whole new audience base, and you're just like, wow, I should have just been remembering that I need to do that, because it's just like advertising, right?
But I think that's how it goes. It ebbs and flows, right? I mean, like, you haven't done it for a while. I think if you were doing it all the time, it wouldn't be as effective.
Yeah, that's true. But it was a really good platform because there's a lot of people that watch it live. Actually, you watched it live. Right?
I watched it live, yeah.
So they have a live stream, and people would comment, and like that's where they kind of got some of the questions from. But it's interesting seeing the long tail. Do you know what that term means?
You mean the long tail effects of being on the show? Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because like live, I got some really like immediate results from it. Like I walked out back to the car, checked my email, and it was like, okay, there's like all these emails and all these like new sales from just being on the show for like 40 minutes or whatever. Right. So I was like, well, that's great. And then every day since then has been like some more, like just a kind of constant long tail of what's going, like people that are getting it on demand, people that have found it on YouTube and everything like that.
Interesting.
So that was interesting because I've never really thought about, well, if it airs live and then after the fact it's a podcast, like how long is the effect going to go for,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's cool that it's actually kind of continuing. Mm-hmm. How was it talking with Leo? Like, did you find it was hard to get a word in?
No. I thought it was fine. I mean, like, we actually had a pretty good rapport. Mm-hmm. Part of it is that he's on his computer, so he has to kind of like look up what you're talking about.
And he also has like notes from the producers, right, about different things about you, because he was bringing certain things up.
It was actually I prepped him because I like I said, I wasn't really prepped for the show, and I asked them ahead of time. I was like, could you guys give me kind of an idea what questions you're going to ask me just so I know, because I always do that. Whenever I get interviewed, I just kind of like ask, Mm-hmm. And they were like, oh, it's just going to be like a really casual conversation. And I was like, okay, well, as soon as I sat down and I brought all the pillows out, I was like, Leo, if you go to the Flickr, the Throwaway Flickr, we have like a thing called the Throwaway Story, and it's just basically photos that can illustrate everything that I'm going to talk about.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
So instead of like trying to sift through the blog or Google every 2 seconds, that's where he was getting all his photos from.
Dude, that would be really, that was really good that you did that because, when you're doing something live especially, it's like to have that, here's kind of like my speaking guide. It's like, I know everything I need to bring up.
Yeah, and it worked really well. I think it illustrated a lot of the points, and it got my memory kind of jogging, that's right, we used to do it that way, and all this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
But it was cool. I was trying to just like not think about it because I have watched Leo since I was in high school, mm-hmm. and so I could easily have been kind of nervous to have like a real live interview because like I said, like they interview like real big time people on this show.
Right.
And I'm like this guy, and it's funny because he was like, oh, he's here. Like he didn't know that I was going to be in studio. Yeah. And he was like, after like, getting to know me, he's like, I thought we were getting like the Throwboy CEO. I didn't know it was basically just you running the company. And it was funny too because I was just like, well, it's kind of like everyone kind of starts.
Oh, so he thought, he didn't even know you owned it.
No, he did, but I don't know if maybe he didn't. I don't know.
Interesting.
I think he did because he knew that I made them at one point or another. But it was kind of like
maybe it was a much larger business than it actually is.
And
sure.
And I thought it was cool though because I think that anytime I've ever been like really transparent about Throwboy and like we're growing and we're working on getting into this market and et cetera, et cetera. I think it's made for a better story, and I think it's made for people like liking it more,
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's the way to go. I don't think there's anything wrong with being small. It's like everyone starts small, mm-hmm. and
Leo started in like his attic,
Yeah, right.
All by himself,
Jeez, that's crazy.
So yeah, it's easy to kind of like lump people into like, you have a company. How big are you? And you're like, we're 2 people. Oh, that's nice, like and just kind of write them off. In this book I read called Rework, that's kind of like they were talking about if you go to a cocktail party and you don't have like a 100-person company, then they kind of go, oh, that's nice, that's like...
Yeah, I think there are definitely people that will discount you, especially because like if you're a 2-person company, it's like you're not really a company.
Yeah.
A company is like, just by nature of the word, is a lot of people working together, right?
Yeah.
But I definitely don't think that means that you're not legitimate.
But I think it's cool. I think we kind of touched on some points about... with social media, you're able to promote yourself without having like a whole bunch of money. You're able to kind of spread word of mouth. And I'm able to do things like go into the Twitch studios and then set up an interview and like actually get a lot more customers to the business and everything like that, So yeah, it was fun. I thought it was a really good choice that I actually went back instead of just did it over Skype.
I think that was definitely a good choice. Yeah, because I mean, going over Skype, I mean, just don't think it would leave nearly as much of it. Meeting people in person is so important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm going to CES in January, and one of the reasons I go is so I can meet people in person.
Yeah,
because
it's once a year, right?
It's once a year, and I mean, shaking somebody's hand and getting a drink with them will take you farther with them than a year of emails. Like, there's just no replacement for that face-to-face contact.
Yeah, I definitely had. I was there for a few more days, and I got a lot of value out of those last few days where I met another business owner that I know. He's from a company called Capital Eyewear, and they make these wood sunglasses.
Okay.
And I came over to his shop, and he gave me, like, we're kind of in the kind of same boat of where we manufacture in ourselves. But he gave me a lot of good tips, and it was just like that kind of stuff where you just kind of go do it. You can't get from just email correspondence or like tweeting somebody forever or something like that,
Yeah, that's really true.
Or just be like, hey, you want to meet up? And like, you never know, it might be really valuable.
Yeah, like you and me.
Yeah,
we met, through a Facebook ad, ended up doing a podcast together. And actually, my relationship with Leander Caney, the founder of cultomac.com, I mean, we kind of knew each other, but until I kind of went to CES the first time, and I mean, in all honesty, I wasn't even invited. I was just like, I'm going to CES, whether you want me to or not. Like, do you want to meet up while I'm there?
That's the kind of thing you got to do, man.
Yeah, you just got to get your foot in the door, and I'm a big fan of do what you want, and then and then just apologize later instead of asking permission to do things.
Oh yeah, it's way better. I mean, you remember when I went to South by Southwest?
Yeah.
With a suitcase full of pillows.
Yeah.
And that could have easily turned out being, can I bring these in? And then they're like, no,
Hell no.
But I would always just go in,
Yeah.
And then, or I ended up befriending somebody that was, kind of in the in crowd, and he's like, oh yeah, let this guy in, he's with me, you know what I mean? And that's the kind of thing you just have to go do it. If you don't do it, then it's easily, you're like, oh, well, they're not going to let me in, or I asked them,
we got into that thing
no.
at South by Southwest. The next year we went together. I mean, we got into that thing with Tim Ferriss.
And it was sold out event.
It was a sold out event, and it was Andrew from Mixergy, and we started talking to him outside. And I was like, dude, we don't have tickets, and we had a great conversation. He's like, I'm gonna get you guys in, and then he did. He got us all in, which is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So all in all, that was really cool. And
awesome.
And I also did a Throwboy meetup in
I saw some pictures from that
at Fisherman's Wharf, and that went over really well too. It was really cool to meet new fans and stuff like that. So I think I want to do that more often because it was just fun. We went to an arcade, and I got I used my credit card to get a bunch of tokens, and I just gave them out. So
oh, really?
Everyone just went and got a bunch of, played a bunch of games and stuff.
That's so funny.
So yeah, it was cool. I'm glad that I went down again.
So we were actually talking today about doing a live Cultcast meetup in Las Vegas, and at first we were talking about doing a live show, but it's looking like that's just not going to be possible this year.
How come?
Well, first of all, there's not really any place to do it. Everything's already sold out. And I didn't even think about this because, I mean, CES is put together a year in advance, right? And it's all the hotels are already sold out. And we are not really in a position to, go pay for a big venue and do a live recording.
Do, a guerrilla style, on the strip?
And we could do a meet and greet for sure. But the live recording is where I'm not really sure we could pull that off because we don't really have a place to do it, A, and B, it requires some technical knowledge to do.
Really? What do you really need?
I'm not even really sure what we would need. I mean, the way we do it now is over Skype, and the format would be so different if we were all doing it in person. We would need microphones and probably a mixer and a place for us to all hang out and record it. I think we'll definitely do a show from Las Vegas. I'm just not sure we'll have an audience for it, which is what I really wanted to do.
You don't think you're gonna have an audience in Las Vegas?
No. I think we'll have an audience. I don't think we'll have an audience for the live show that we do, and not to say that they wouldn't show up.
Yeah.
Just that I don't think we're gonna make that. I don't think we're gonna open it up to have a live audience because at this moment, I'm not really sure where we would be able to do it. I know that's a major problem for me.
Dignation, in their first year, they did live from Las Vegas, and it was just them on the strip with the camera pointed at them. And then they did live at the Apple store when they were lining up for the iPhone, and it was just them with a camera on them. And I think that it might be a good time for you guys, since you're not humongous yet.
Yeah.
Because Dignation couldn't do that now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they were still around. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they could do that if they were still a small podcast, and they could have, like, we're just going to be over, like, right next to this hotel, you know, or right on the strip, because nobody really cares. And you could have those little digital recorders, and then just record one at a time and mix it together, maybe. I mean, it's just talking. You're not going to have to do much else besides get a level on each one of these recorders, you know?
Yeah. See, that's the kind of technical stuff we'd have to figure out. Then I'm like, okay, well, digital recorders, like, where are we going to get those?
What about your phone?
I guess I could use my phone. That kind of seems like crappy audio, though, right?
Well, I mean, not like this, but like have a...
We should just Skype each other standing there. We're all doing the podcast live.
I think you could do it if you just had a plug-in microphone, you know?
Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, really what I want to do is, you remember when we went to South by Southwest and we saw Leo's show?
Mm-hmm.
And they were at a table and there was a big group of people there.
Sure.
And we met David Prager.
But I think that might be pretty far. Why don't you just do it? I mean, I would just do it.
Well, you mean like just like find like a place on the strip and just do it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess we could, but like my vision for it had always been like the Leo thing, and I was like, that's really what I want to do. So that way we can be looking at the audience while we're talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would be a lot of fun. But anyway, I digress. I mean, these are a lot of details that we have to figure out.
Sure.
But we're definitely gonna at least have a meetup when we go there. It'll probably be like grill style. Like everyone meet us at this bar in 2 hours.
Yeah, definitely.
Type of a deal.
Definitely
because it would be awesome.
Don't pass that up.
Oh no, that we won't, because I mean, like the Cultcast guys especially, like we don't see each other hardly ever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we talk all the time, but Buster lives in Phoenix. Well, he lives in Arizona. I'm not sure he lives in Phoenix. Leander's in San Francisco. Alex Heath is in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Of course, he's not going to be there. And then Charlie, our gadgets editor, is probably going to be there too, and he lives in Barcelona, Spain.
I think it would be cool even if it was like Dignation. I think their first live show was in a bar and had maybe 10 people that wanted to watch it. Like even that would be cool.
Dude, it would be so cool because we actually live in the same city. If we could start doing live shows,
yeah,
that would be so awesome.
But I mean, really, I think you need to think sort of within your means right now. If you can go to whatever bar and then be like, we're gonna be just tweet it or whatever. I don't know, Facebook event.
Well, that's what we're gonna do. We'll probably just use Eventbrite so people know they can get tickets to it before. But I don't even know if we need to do that. I mean, we can just announce it on the Cultomac Twitter. We have freaking 4,000 people following us.
Yeah, and not everyone's going to be at Vegas during CES.
No, yeah. I think a lot of people probably won't be.
Yeah.
But, hey, as long as we're on the topic of Leo, I wanted to ask you about this. This seems pretty crazy. I don't know if you heard about this. So the title's on Gizmodo.
Oh, this is
Are on Gawker.
This is
tech guru Leo Laporte can't stop revealing his sexy text on his internet show. You said this is old.
I think so.
Well, this happened a year ago.
Yeah.
But he just happened again.
Really?
So, yeah. Gawker just published a bunch of...
Can I film this?
Yeah, Gawker just published a bunch of sexy chats between him and his girlfriend, whose name I can't recall. Let me turn this on.
God.
Here you go.
Okay.
So... A year ago, Leo was showing something on his screen on one of his shows, and he accidentally showed this series of texts between him and one of his coworkers, and they were super erotic, all sorts of comments about sexual acts and stuff, and he was still married at the time, so it was kind of scandalous, and he apologized and he was shame on Gawker for publishing this stuff, and I guess it just happened again, and he ended up showing a bunch of sexy chats between him and his girlfriend again. This is her right here, by the way, and
I don't want to be involved with this.
Well, for me this is crazy because I mean Leo shows his stuff on screen, and sometimes he just shows his screen, and for me, when I show my screen, even I get a little nervous because I'm like, what do I have on my desktop? Not that I'm having logs of sexy chats, but you never know, right? Your computer is a very personal thing. But I think what's more crazy to me is the Gawker empire, right? The fact that they would even post any of this stuff. I mean, it's scandalous. I mean, when you read through it too, it's embarrassing. And Leo's a pretty high-profile personality. Like, what's your opinion? Like, do you think that it's okay for Gawker to be posting this kind of stuff?
Isn't that their whole thing?
I mean, it's part of what they do, but that doesn't mean that it's okay. I mean, like, do you think it's cool that they make their reputation on posting salacious things that can be embarrassing or, like, for instance?
Yeah, I mean, it's freedom of press, dude.
Yeah, that's true, but I think there's a certain ethical code that kind of, is out there that you can go by or not. And like, I remember when Brian Williams sent an email about I forget the girl's name. She performed on SNL, and he sent an email to the founder of Gawker that just said it was like the worst performance ever in SNL's history, and Gawker published it.
Why? Yeah, but that's just dumb to do that, Like, if you don't want something out there, then don't put it out there,
Well, that'd be like me sending you an email that said, "Oh, dude, this and this person is really making me mad, and check out these nude pictures they sent me." And then
it wouldn't be like
on your blog.
sending it to me. It'd be like you're sending it to Gawker.
No. He sent it to Nick Denton, the owner of Gawker, but he was personal friends with him. Why else would you send? He sent that in confidence, like.
Oh yeah.
That's
like, different. And I don't know. It's just like. Don't associate yourself with this kind of like tabloid trash, right? I mean, because you never know if they're like, well, that's gonna give me, that kind of attention. Then yeah, I'll publish it. I don't know.
I just think it's crazy. I mean, the balls that Gawker has, no pun intended, to publish stuff like this, it's just kind of crazy. But it's also crazy because like Leo's image on his show is kind of squeaky clean. Like he's kind of Disney, right? And then to read this stuff in the undercurrent, you're just like, oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, he actually put it on his Reddit, so like he already kind of like publicly showed it, and I think that's always the best way to address any sort of like whatever wrongdoing or anything bad that might be associated with who you are, or what your brand is, because it's better just to be like swift about it and public about it, rather than just being like trying to kind of hide it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because if it's already out there, just might as well just be like public about it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, rather than try to, because when you admit it and you're just like, yeah, it happened, yeah, it's embarrassing, then what else can people say about it?
Right.
Right? It's like, because if you try to deny it and you try to bury it, then it just becomes even more salacious, because now people are like, well, did it happen or didn't it happen?
Right.
Or, like, why is this person trying to hide it? And it just makes it, that much more intriguing to people. In Leo's credit, I mean, he is very open. He's just like I was kind of surprised at how open he was being in his AMA on Reddit too. Like he was answering questions very authentically, so much so that some of the answers he posted on Reddit later had to be retracted because his lawyers were like, you can't say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He reminds me of.
Is this new or is this?
This is brand new. This happened yesterday.
Oh.
And he had this email.
Yeah, that's just trashy, dude. I did not know about this topic beforehand. He didn't want to tell me what he was gonna say, because I just feel like it's kind of like I don't really want to talk about Leo like that, because I mean, whatever. Leo's cool,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's trashy on the part of them, I don't think it's trashy on the part of like you showing it to me. That's just like whatever.
Yeah, well, I definitely didn't even read you the really bad parts.
No, dude, I know.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, that's the thing about Gawker. It's just like, I'm like, man, when they post this stuff, I mean, Gawker is popular because they are willing to publish anything.
Yeah. Like,
that is the reputation that has built their brand, that they built their brand on. But sometimes I'm like, man, like, I feel like there's kind of like this line in the sand, right? And it's like you just shouldn't go certain places. It's like just leave it alone, And
I think everyone kind of has their different line of what is, I was just being funny, and what is like, that's my personal business, don't talk about it,
Yeah.
So
anyway,
it just depends, right? But I don't know. It's just like it's like supermarket tabloid shit to me,
Actually, it is.
Yeah, it's just like, okay. I don't care.
There'd be like, you won't believe what Leo Laporte said, and they'll find a picture of him like
Yeah.
Like mid-sentence, right? His mouth will be agape, and there'll be like a zebra dressed in drag behind him. Anyway, you want to show me an app, right?
Yeah. Let me bring it up. Can you film my phone? Let me make sure I don't have any crazy text on it.
Dude, make sure all your crazy text messages haven't been put away.
Yeah. Where is it? Here we go. Okay. So this app, got it? Go.
Yep.
This app is called SpinCam.
Yep.
Did you even get that? Did you
Yep.
get that title?
Yep.
I don't think you did.
I think I did.
Okay, so this app is pretty cool. So in the current popularity of the new panoramic of the iPhone 5 or iOS 6, I should say, there is this app that I don't know how old this is, but I just got shown this app like a few days ago or weeks ago, and it's really cool. I'll show you a demo of it, and then I'll do one. Basically,
That's a cool line.
what it does is you can take your phone and you can spin it around an image, an image of like somebody, or like a coffee cup or something like that, and it will take like a 360 pano of it.
That's cool.
So let me show you. Like here is, they have uploads, right? They have featured uploads. So I can kind of get an idea of what it would do. Kind of reminds me of, do you remember QuickTime VR?
Yeah, in fact, isn't that something that a lot of like real estate agents would use to do like 360 like?
So okay, look, this was just taken on SpinCam.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So this person obviously kept their camera really steady to do that.
Mm-hmm. Do a lot of them not turn out this good?
They don't, but it's still kind of cool because of the like it just being sort of choppy. It's kind of cool too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what we're looking at, or we're gonna be looking at.
Well, now, do you have to view the images on the iPhone, or can you view them on the web?
On the iPhone and the web. Actually, on the web, it's like I think it's Flash, and you can just drag it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, like that's like if he was just spinning with it in his hand, right?
That's actually pretty funny.
So, do you want to try one?
Sure.
Okay.
What should we photo?
We could do this. Okay.
Yeah, good idea.
I'm gonna do the coffee cup.
Because that's really interesting.
As best I can, but so while you're moving it, it has this little dial. See?
Yeah. That's all you do, huh?
Yeah, and then it will stitch it together. So that one might be kind of crappy because I couldn't stay steady.
Yeah, that's gonna look like poop.
Let's see. Okay, so.
You know, actually though, it still looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it still stitches it together in kind of a cool way. Here, I could do one of you.
You're gonna go all around me?
Yeah, here. You could stand up. Or sit up straight, and I'll just do it.
All right.
Okay. Sit up closer though.
Sit closer where?
Like right there.
Okay.
No, up, like back, not against.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, here we go. Start on this side. See how steady I can go. The cult cast is gonna love to see what you look like. Did it work? Okay, cool. I got it. Now let's see what happened. Okay. Can you record this?
Oh yeah. Whoops.
I think one shot I blocked or something, but
That's like I'm on a merry-go-round. I'm about to puke.
It's pretty cool, right?
That's cool. Actually, yeah. So that's called SpinCam.
SpinCam.
I like it,
and I think it's free on the App Store.
Okay. Because if it costs $1, there's no way I'm gonna download it.
But yeah, I saw it. Somebody showed it to me at a bar, and I was just like, "That's really cool." Like I've never seen the iPhone used in that way before. You know?
I haven't either.
And
Yeah.
we also did one. I think we were at a round table at one point, and we did one where we all kind of passed it to each other, and then we could see each other like the whole 360.
It's like that 70s show.
Yeah, it's like that 70s show. Let me see if I have that one still. My spins. Yeah, right here. Okay, so.
That's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, so it's kind of a fun.
I'm totally gonna download that. Yeah.
For you photography fans out there. So,
which I am.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
How long have we been talking for?
For like an hour. Feels like it.
Okay, cool.
Cool. That's it, guys. Hey, thanks for watching.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, don't post your sexy text messages on your computer when you're doing screencasts. That's not going to work out.
Just
well
in
for
general, it'll keep you safe.
Keep those locked away somewhere safe. Hey, you can subscribe to User Friendly on iTunes. Just search for User Friendly Show in iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you don't have to wait and download them manually like a grandpa.
Like a Neanderthal.
Like the Geico caveman. You can just have them download as soon as they're ready. And also you can watch our shows on YouTube. That's youtube.com/User Friendly Show. Mm-hmm. If you're interested in Roberto's Throwboy biz and personal ongoings, where can we find you?
Throwboy.com for Throwboy, and I am just at Roberto Hoyos, RobertoHoyos on Twitter. And what about you?
I'm at Airphone on Twitter, and if you're interested in Mike Tees, that's MIGHTTEES.com, or the same on Twitter. It's just at Mike Tees. This has been User Friendly, the best podcast on the internet, arguably.
All week schlong.
All week schlong. Thanks for listening, or I should say, well, thanks for watching, guys. And we'll catch you guys next week.